let's talk a little bit about the housing market. So let's say somebody who, who sold their home here and want to move to California. What are your advice in general for a buyer?
So somebody that sells their house out in California and wants to move out to Texas, first I would recommend them coming out here and experiencing it for themselves. It's not the same watching it on TV or on YouTube or watching these videos. It's better just to come out here, spend the weekend with us, let us show you a few different neighborhoods. That way you can get acclimated. And then once you do that, then you'll have an idea of where you want to live. And then once you do that, then we can start shopping for a house, depending on what's important to your lifestyle. If you want to be, if schools are important, then we might want to focus on one of the suburbs like Sugar Land, Katy, the Woodlands, Cypress. If being close to the water and you're moving down here to retire, then you might want to move closer down to Clear Lake. They've got a lot of communities there that are tailored more for folks that are retiring.
That sounds fun. I think I might like Clear Lake.
Yeah, it's one of the hottest areas in town.
Oh, okay. So how is the price point for Clear Lake?
Clear Lake, you're looking at about average price, I'd say $450 to $550.
Nice. Once you're here in the Bay Area, you go anywhere else. Everywhere else is not bad compared to California. But if you were like anywhere else moving in here, it's such a sticker shock to come in and they're like, how much? For what? This is it. This is like a shed. You want me to pay $3 million for this?
Yeah, I have to win the lottery to move to California.
I don't know. I think it's doable. It's doable. You just need to get, one of the executive high-tech jobs. That's all. I think, for us here, I think the buying process is very different because, when I was in San Antonio and I had that experience with a builder and I was looking at, the purchase agreements and everything, it is slightly different because for us, so I want to break it down to the viewer, like, what can you expect when you're actually buying a home in Texas versus here in California? So for us here, right, we always have our disclosure available. We have our inspections done. So like termite inspections, home inspections, and California, termite is an issue. We always say either a house just had termite, is having termite, or will have termite. It's in one of those things. So we always have a termite report and a home inspection report, of course, and then we have all our disclosure, hundreds of pages that are available for our buyer to look through. And when it comes time to making an offer, usually we have an offer due date, and usually that is like the weekend after the first open house. And it's kind of depend on the market too. And I think right now our market is still pretty strong. Lots of homes are still getting very high offer after the first weekend. We have a date that everybody has to come in, like, give us your highest and best. And for the beautiful home in the great neighborhood, in general, it's going to be a non-contingent offer. It's basically your loans are ready to go. You're letting go of appraisal. You already look at all the inspections. You're okay with everything. And it's just a matter of what price you're going to give the seller. How is it different in Texas?
Wow. Yeah. So here it's right now, it's turned more into a buyer's market. And so you've got a little bit more leverage, but even though it's not so, it's not kind of like California and the way you're describing it. So here, let's say we find a house that you like, we'll go ahead and negotiate the offer, and then both parties come to an agreement. Then you'll put your earnest money deposit. Then you have usually about 7 to 10 days to have the home inspected. Once the home is inspected, we'll see what arises. If any issues have to be taken care of, any repairs have to be done, then we'll negotiate that. And after that, then we'll move into the period where the title company is doing their due diligence, making sure title is clear. And usually the closings take about 30 days from the point where we execute, where the buyer and seller agree on the price. And from that point to the point where we close on it, it takes about 30 days.
Yeah, and I think that for us, it is a 30-day period as well. But it's just like everything is done a little bit more upfront with all the inspection. So because the seller paid for that and have it ready. So it sounds like where you are, so the buyer would be paying for the inspection, right?
Correct. Yeah. So the buyer pays for the inspection, which costs about $500 to $600. And yeah, you know, we have termite inspection. You know, even though we're in a humid state, a state where there's, I mean, Houston, you know, there's a lot of humidity. We really don't have too many issues with termites, even though, you know, that is part of the inspection process. We have it inspected for termite.
Okay, yeah. So in that sense, it's similar. And like for us, right, deposit is always 3%. Is it similar for you guys, or it's
No,
less?
the deposit is 1% of the sales price.
Nice.
Yeah. So
That's
let's say
very
you're
nice.
buying a $400,000 house and you'll put $4,000 earnest money. And usually it'll be about $250 option period money. So that
Mhm.
250 is for you to have the option to get it inspected. You have about 10 days. So yeah, I didn't even know it was the 3%. Wow.
3%. So imagine if you're buying a $2 million home, that's $60,000. And you
Wow.
put it into escrow, right? And
Yeah.
if you're buying a low end, let's say the low end is $1 million for a single family home, that is what, $30,000 that is going to go into escrow. So,
Yeah.
so I always say to my client, like, when you pick this house, we negotiate. It's better be the right one. And especially if we go non-contingent, it's like, do not tell me later on that, oh, I changed my mind. We're going to be in a pickle.
Yeah, no, we no, it's not like that here.
Yeah, so I think that's the other part was actually really nice is that your deposit is really only 1%. And
Yes.
on top of that, you'll have your inspection. You'll have your loan contingency is automatically built in, right? It's not something that you have to release ahead, do you?
Yeah, normally you know, the buyer's agent will write that into the contract, and the average loan contingency is 21 days.
Oh wow, 21 days. Oh my gosh. I think like if a seller see a loan contingent here for someone, be like, no, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You're obviously not serious about this home.
No, yeah, 21 days is the average here.
Yeah, yeah. So for us, it's 0 day is the average.
Wow, 0 days.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why, like, when I work with buyer, right? I mean, I'm sure you have them go through your lender, but for us, we're like, no, you not only need to fill out your application, give all the, I need a pre-approval, but not just any pre-approval. I need an underwriter approval. So the underwriter has to review everything first and give it the okay before I would feel comfortable writing a non-contingent offer. Can you imagine if you go to the loan, you go into escrow, and then underwriter will be like, oh no, I make a mistake. We can't fund this loan. I'm like, oh, that would be tough. Yeah.
Wow, real estate is different here than it is over there then.
Yeah, it is quite different. And imagine like for us, I mean, our price point is so high already, and yet, everyone is fighting for the same house.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's more buyer friendly out here then.
Yeah, it is a lot more buyer friendly. It actually, you actually even able to negotiate for credit and things like that if you actually see something from the inspection report. For us, it's like, no, like this is what you get. This is all the inspection's been done. Don't, you're not. And even for me as a listing agent, right? Because I always have those report ready.
Yeah.
And even when sometimes people will, when they get into a frenzy and we have, everyone battling for the same house. And, in the moment, in the heat of the moment, some buyer will give like a lot more than what the appraised value will be. And a lot of time I have to look at their asset and their loan as well, and be like, I'm like, if this thing falls short, do they have the money to make up the difference? Because I wouldn't want, once you get into escrow, appraisal come back and say, oh, seller, appraisal didn't meet it. Can you give us a credit? I mean, like, and I remember my last one, I specifically talked to the buyer agent. I'm like, if this thing falls short, don't come back and ask me for a credit. The answer will be no. I'm like, preempt it.
It's cutthroat out there.
It is cutthroat. I mean, like, are you gonna take it? I have like 5 other people in line. So yeah, so it's pretty tough out here for buyers. So it's actually nice to hear that you guys are much more friendly a buyer market out there. Thank you so much, Cesar, for spending all this time with me and sharing your wealth of knowledge about the Houston market. Whoever wanna sell your house here, call me, and then call Cesar if you want to move to Houston, Texas.